trainees from Somalia, we had trainees from South Sudan, and we have people who got interested in some of the colleagues from those countries. So we noticed something from the training school that no, you cannot fall in love with a foreigner unless you're informed the Inspector General of Police. Okay? We had a lady from Somalia who ran almost mad when they were being escorted to the airport in Entebbe. She jumped out of the bus. Even when they were tight security, she jumped out of the bus because his boyfriend had fallen in love with. So that became very challenging. But later, the two countries had to sit at management and see how to get of them. If at all they were willing. Okay? The woman, you know, the Muslim woman who fallen in love, just know that for her to exit from you is not something easy. So it is important that in any organization, such principles and standards must be set to guide. And at the end of the day, things move on as smoothly. Even at the workplaces, okay, some of these things happen. Like as you a DDC, how do you start learning the junior staff whom you are supposed to supervise? What instructions will you give to such a learner? So in a similar way, when you are usually trained in many houses, the manager is there, the news editor is there, the reporter is there. I don't think the news editor should start now tasking a reporter. How many are news editors there, first of all? And you agree with your one of them. Whatever you fear. You were, how you raised? Any reporter who is the main from Radio 1? Now you can imagine if Agnes starts mingling in the corner like portion, okay, with interest or with intention, falling down. At the end of the day, you start working in a manner that the other staff do not look at it in a very good way. So these are real things that happen in our lifestyle or in our workplaces. Now, the information and communication space has been filled with other stakeholders beyond the professional journalists who are facilitated by the advancement of technology. Now, you are the professionals we have as reporters, as media people. But we also have some unprofessionals who are outside there because of the level of technology that we have gone. Right now, before a news is run in a radio station on a TV, it is already on WhatsApp, it is already on YouTube. So how do we get against some of that? Citizens have now, and they have some content that they create, which is not far from what I've just shared. So you realize that the social media is squeezing the space, and there is need for that to be regulated. And as a professional journalism, it is required now that you do much more, okay? Because at the end of the day, the angle at which these unprofessional partners come out with, then you who is a professional differently look from a very different angle. So you are supposed to frame that angle so that it is seen as the rightful information, because others can spice. Yesterday we watched us Manu playing which team? Holland. Now you can imagine with the social media creating that the ball that Bruno Fernandes used for playing the penalty has just been recovered in the tree somewhere hanging. Are those true reporting? Now, as a professional, what do you take of that? That shows how far social media has already been taken up by the level of technology that we have. So it means we should come up with great things to support our operations. So as the silent issues we have, journalistic ethics are the common values that guide reporters. They lay out both aspiration and obligation as journalists, editors, and others working in the field should follow to execute their work responsibly. So as long as we have these ethics, we set rules put in place, that will make your work very, very simple. It has also evolved over time that most news organizations have their own written codes of ethics as per their membership bodies. And now if we pick from the Code of Journalism Ethics, which is provided for in the Press and Journalistic Act of 2000, and also in the Independent Media Council of Uganda, there are both 42 other media houses that came together. They set their own rules, which I am sure you know them because all of you have gone through some of this that I am talking about. What are some of the important ethics and ethical codes to you as a journalist? There is a microphone here. Let me start with. As long as you are not, you will be following. If you are busy also on your laptop, you will not understand what I'm talking about.
It's not just to be objective in our reporting.
Okay. Any other?
It's all about like to feed the facts of the student class.
That is fine. People, you have eyes from here, I cannot see well, but you see. The iPhone is saying, here. So, these are very important things in your operations. First, to emphasize obligations to the public that the journalists and the media play and serve. In all that you are supposed to do, particularly the last consumer, it supports your operations. Two, it holds you accountable to the various stakeholders that you serve. Like now, the Communication for Development Foundation in Uganda, in the collaboration with other organizations like the plan is there, as the police are there. You interface a lot with other stakeholders. Like today, this organization has brought you together and enriched you, empowers you with some of the things that you believe, like somebody said, you're here to learn and learn and to learn. Okay? When you were coming here, you thought you knew most of the things, or the things that you thought you didn't know, probably you are aware about them. So this is going to support you, makes you accountable in all the things that you do. Distinguishes between the right and the wrong. Like I've just given a fun example of that penalty of Bruno. Okay? You can't say the ball disappeared and it has just been recovered. Okay? What is wrong and what's right there? Is there any sense in that story people are posting? In any case, people are just making fun. It's not news, it can't even be news. Okay? The establishes the standard of conduct, how you operate, how you do your things. It guides you and just talk about an issue relating in your offices. How do you work when there is no ethical conduct has been put in place for the courts. In a similar way, it increased competition in all spheres of life, brought about in life measures by the dominant capitalism and out of threats, competition that has seen decency, and the Ubuntu brought out, okay? The Ubuntu, I think my brother will be what now about that, because we have a lot of concepts. Okay? Fine, let's talk about commercialization. We have that word. Can someone pronounce for me this word here? The microphone is there. It's just in front of you. You can pronounce that word. You pick the microphone. The same thing in rehearsal practice. Eh? It is on. That's very okay. You read the whole sentence.
In miscommunication, marked us by organizations to make
Let's hear from Chad. Chad, do you read that sentence? Read the word.
Conglomeration.
I think the whole sentence.
Increased commercialization. Managed by organizations to make enormous amounts of money through conglomeration, in which ethics are the very least of the consideration.
Okay. Recently, the president of the Bank of Uganda paid a visit to this region, and some of you were selected to meet him. We went at state lodge in Bahrain. Okay? You went as a team, not so. And the president promised some package for all of you so that we come together and we work more. We are looking at making money all together. That's why if you look at the first presentation there, that for the two individuals in the house that came together and said their rules on how they should operate. In a similar way as media practitioners in language agreement, you can pick from that perspective that yes, we can come together, the 100 million shillings that the president gave us. I don't know if it has already come into account. Yeah? Also, as that money arrives in our account, what has happened? Because from that day, honestly speaking, I was in that class. The discussion I was hearing, I think we should just divide this money. I pick my share, I go and start buying my Irish and take it. So we are missing. We are missing because we do not want to come together. That's why to conglomerate is to bring people together with a goal. And at the end of the day, we intend to make some money. That means that money of 100 million given, if it is to come, that means we're supposed to sit and see how many journalists do we have in this region. In fact, me as a PR now, I do not know the number of journalists we have in this region. That will help you. You will see how much can Bobson borrow and gives us with a profit. Okay? If we say we borrow at 10%, That is making money. Within a year, you will have made a quarter interest of that money. Out of 100 million, you will be having 125 million as an interest. So that means you're supposed to come together as a team through the different ethics that you're going to set by yourself. At the end of the day, you benefit. Now, the rise of social media that has changed the entire landscape of media operations, and yet the space is largely unregulated. That is exactly what I've talked about. There is no clear regulation that binds the operation of unprofessional passion who is outside there, because they have not gone through this training that we're talking about. Now, we should take note that breaches of professional code of ethics sometimes attract sanctions. Okay? The international world is watching. Like you're aware, Uganda is a signatory to different international laws. So outside the regulation that is being done by Uganda Communication Commission, probably we are seeing it also in Langusa region here. One of the radio stations of air. Isn't it? There's a radio station I'm watching here. It's called Orion One. Eh? Yes. Is it on air? Yeah, there are certain things that they are missing. Of late also we saw a letter instructing management in one of the radio stations in Angola of putting off 2 journalists because of their programs that they have. Now it is important that as a moderator, as a presenter, you know that the angle at which you bring out the discussion. We're going to move somewhere in terms of your roles, like you put in your expectations. There's a program that will need to come out with it very clear. Like around this period, in the volatile period, the tempo is increasing day and night. Okay. How do you make selection of the people you wish to have in your review? And what surprises me is, I don't know whether you observe this, there are radio stations here, somebody is not programmed even in that particular show. But from nowhere you hear somebody is walking into the studio and said, I've also come after I was here at ABC. Was he part of the, was he supposed to be there in any case? This lack of knowledge we have. Because at the end of the day, this person can come and say something that damages the image of the radio station. So I think we should control that. The moment somebody is not planned, is not invited for a particular show, please, if he can give you through phone call, the better, because you have phone number that you can use. But for someone to walk into the studio without uninvited, to me I think that is lack of ethical conduct, which we should work on. Okay? Such breaches also lead to loss of trust. I've already talked about it, and credibility. Okay? Let's speak from that guiding principle. Professional journalism stands on the foundation of truth. Okay? You don't just create a story. Maybe the PR has had the press briefing with you, and I'll say 30 people drawn in the flooding in where in the Morocco Bridge. Then 3 were rescued. 9 we still expect they're either dead or alive hanging somewhere in water. We cannot see for fun. Now for you, because I've said 3 plus 9, then you're saying 15 people have perished in the flooding that was us. Are we standing on the foundation of truth? Or we want just to buy? I don't know if it is the battery of the microphone Okay? Sorry? I'm going near the speaker. Yes. Journalists have a professional responsibility to stick to the truth and be bound by the professional code that is formed to uphold the truth. That is self-explanatory. Trust, however, rests on the integrity of an individual, which is you. Okay? We cannot say that your Q has a problem. Yet it is a person who is a problem. Are we together? It is an individual, but at the end of the day, you're damaging the image of the institution, of the organization. But you as a person, as me, like if I say something which is not good, which is not in conformity with the mission and the vision of the Ghana Police Force, sometimes I'm looked at as me, but of course I'm damaging, instead of protecting the image of the police, I'm just saying something which will not definitely. So the same way it goes to you as a journalist. Now, we have this, the professional codes of ethics in our country. As a journalist, okay, we pick from the perspective of accuracy. The journalist and editors must take care not to publish inaccurate, misleading, or distorted information, including pictures. This is self-explanatory. Privacy. Journalists and editors shall respect the constitutional rights to privacy of homes. So you are asking me of some suspects. I know you want to expose all these players so that people know the passion we're talking about. Okay? But you see, if the passion is a suspect, we should take this passion until proven before court of law. And that is why for us now in the police, we have been guided by Attorney General not to parade suspects on before you media. Unless maybe you found us during the time of others, that is okay. But the moment the suspect is in custody, we are deemed not to allow the pictures be taken. Because at the end of the day, it has implications. Okay? So, privacy of homes, correspondence, communication, or other property enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. What does Article 17 say? Somebody with the Constitution? Or you will just download. Bobson. What does Article 27 say? The same. Now there's another one here. Somebody already proposed Mama Betty here. 91. The first one.
Privacy.
You know, ladies are always, but for us men, when it comes to pronunciation, this starts us. Okay? It is unacceptable for any journalist or editor to legalize the professional work of any person or expropriate the work of any person without acknowledging the contribution of honor of the work and naming his or her source of information. If I pick from those ones who write research, before quoting, for example, this book, you must see concept of that passion. And that's why I like most of you, before you come out with the story, you always want a confirmation in terms of comments from the police as spokesperson. Okay? Which is good. A story that is done without confirmation from us, it it's not very healthy. And the reason why the Uganda police as an institution has regionalized PROs for purposes of managing communication, because we have the standing order that guides if you went to chapter 17 of the police standing operating procedures, it spells clearly the people who are supposed to engage with you. It is mainly the regional public relations officers. That is why when you get information from other junior officers, you hear a name withheld. Why do you withhold the name? You should declare it out. That means the source is not the rightful source. That's why they say the OC of this place said you should not disclose his name. It's because it's not right for that person to make a comment on behalf of the institution. Unless I'm not available, but I'm always available. Though sometimes you call for a meeting, sometimes you call for home management, sometimes you call it happens. Okay, I remember when I was in Nassau region, when I was still new there, my wife was also still new and everything was still fresh. You know what it means. Sometimes it gets you when you're still coming to the mood, but you need to make a report. It was so tough for my wife. But then she got through and said, I think the work of this man requires me to be handled and assess the situation. So it is true, sometimes it gets you there. But still you have to do state duty, I see. So it is very important. Harassment. It is unethical for the journalist or editor to engage in intimidation, harassment, or corruption. Okay? I am happy that some of you know their work. I'm also happy that some of you are learning to know your work. If I speak from the perspective of a press briefing, let me just bring. I know I do not have any participation in my office. Let me declare to you here, for 3 months, that is a quarter, I get 400,000 shillings. Okay? 400,000, even if I'm to buy water for you for 1 or 2 weeks press briefing, it can't be enough. Right? Supposed to buy office things with that 400,000 shillings. Supposed to put fuel on that 400,000 shillings. There are many things I cannot share. It is as small as you have. Okay? I don't know with now, when you see me with sorrows, that is how I am. I just look good on this uniform for now. Okay, thanks. So, as a journalist, I don't think you intimidate anybody. Do you? I am not hard. Action. Do you intimidate anybody? I am not hard. So, that guides you. As a journalist, you are supposed to identify yourself. In any case, since you are coming for this training, I would have loved to see you in jackets, written GFM, written Voice of the Gospel, written Shine FM, written Kyoga FM. I don't know that most of your stations have these jackets, do you? I've seen KFM and Unity. I think because of their online YouTube conversation. What about others? Let me one thing also you have. Is there a TV one operating? I saw some news somewhere on TV one. You know, I was once a staff at TV one. I worked in TV one in the technical department. Here back 2009. With my sister Mary, I don't know where she is. She was supposed to be here. Okay? So, the journalist You have got boxers and I think somebody retaliating. And that's how it's fun. And this is one reason why I don't see most of you going out because you fear each other. You see, I'm serious that people I can stay this is what we think. Now we are woman tomorrow, and you think. Now we know that fear. The last thing, so sometimes frustration comes and also makes we should respect one another and cannot be much in that language, maybe I've done so that in that language. But the bigger picture is slightly different. The intruders in two great or short. In the case of all the impossible great or short, then upload of application like financial return and return to such a case has been made with sympathy and discretion and the application of such a case has been made with sensitivity. Now we are talking about another case. Yeah? And we are putting a picture of earhouse smiling. How can that be? The one lady, the woman is smiling and the comment about the manual. How does that mind? You get what I'm talking about? You're just example here, let the picture of that. Okay? If you don't have to feel it, if you don't have to environment, or another child unless the parent will guide them, or any person having custody of a child as consented. This is self-explanatory. There was a time I gave an identity of a child. I think it was Axon that corrected me. Okay? It was a juvenile whose identity needed not to be brought out. And once we are bringing it out. Now, from us as police, maybe we could have erred and brought it out. Now, you as a final person who is going to give to the final consumer, yes, that should come in your mind that no, this child needs to be protected. The child was involved in an aggravated environment. Why should you bring a picture of this child? It will give trauma to this child. It will give bad reputation of the family and so forth. So these are things which we should really take very seriously, because at the end of the day, it makes no sense. Reporting of crime, stories, pictures, information which seeks to explain a particular crime or to glorify or glamorize crime in general must not be published. You've understood this victim of sexual assault. This is also self-explanatory. Okay? This is with everything how many minutes I'm going. Confidential sources. The journalists and editors have a moral obligation to protect confidential sources of information and cannot disclose the source of the information. But they may only divulge the source in the vein of an overriding consideration of public interest and within the framework of the law. Many of you have done investigative stories. Okay? How do you bring out the source of your information? Other than from the official and authentic comments that we give, maybe from the police perspective, maybe local government. Of course, I know most local government relations officers, they rarely react to you. And it's within their docket to make them active. If you don't, they will also be their job. And like me, we have communication officers at local government. Are you aware? Do you communicate to them? Do they share with you information? So you are supposed to expose them. That's how they come out and give you the information which is required. Now, if you've done investigative stories, you've got some source which really does not require disclosing, you don't need to. You have to keep it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to expose your source, which may be a problem that much. And that's why also for us as police, when we have got intelligence information about maybe people taking marijuana somewhere, something like that, we cannot again go and say, we got this report from Michael. Now, Michael is from that way where the smokes opium. How would they look at him? He's a betrayer. So they can easily come on him and hurt him or even do bad things against him or her. As a journalist, you should have an obligation to accurately and properly quote your sources. Sources may be withheld, granted by court order, only in the event of overriding consideration of public interest. There are sources that requires court order. For instance, for us police, maybe you are going to the site, we are going to cite somebody, so we are going to get a print out for an armed tree truck, which is through court. It is through court. You don't just wake up and go and get details of someone's phone details without his consent or her consent. Now, dealing with photographs. A good photograph is worth 1,000 words. However, photographs can present many ethical issues. I have just talked about that. How do you bring, a picture? Let's pick a picture of a politician. Okay? We have all seen that. The picture alone, even before someone reads, the story has already spoken for itself. Okay? If it is a picture of a man stabbing a wife, maybe you took it by yourself, or someone took for you and shared with you. A picture of a man holding a knife, stabbing a wife, that one speaks volume. Before even you read the content of the information, you really have at the background that this person must have been killed by this very person. Okay? And let's look at this picture. Now, such a picture, is it worthwhile putting it in papers? Okay, we have to do that. Such a picture, can you share it in the newspaper? Of course, this was a picture taken sometimes back in a bar before the death of the minister, late General around. You remember when he traveled to a bar? This was what happened. People rolled like. That is job, right? That was always the camera. So, such a picture, a mother. This one we call it all mother. First of all, it's not nice to see naked old passion. For the child, there is no problem. But if all of us are to address ourselves now, we start looking at ourselves. No, some people will start thinking like that and people So, dealing with that photograph when you are one of your stories. In any case, this one you do what you know how to. There's a way you put some. Yeah? How do you call it, Robson? Yes, they're supposed to do that. Sign that respect is given to this poor woman who is doing that thing. Okay? Publishing of sex materials then corrupt morals. Great things, very bad. You will not even wish, assuming it is your auntie, assuming it is your grandmother. How will you feel? Of course, there are tabloid media and the realization of television brings images that by far exceed standards of good taste and common decency. Sensitivity to what is acceptable in the minds of right-thinking members in the society. Yes, before you even go to the society, you yourself who is making this information go to the society. How do you feel? Okay? Other ethical issues. The dilemma of dealing with advertisers when they are the heart and soul of the media business. Well, this one is basically okay, let's look at the link